The roar of artillery echoed across the snow-covered fields, mingling with the cries of men and the distant rumble of tanks. Amid the chaos, a massive figure lumbered forward, 500 pounds of fur and muscle, a bear with eyes that gleamed with intelligence, courage, and loyalty. Private Wojtek had become more than a mascot. He was a soldier, and today the world would witness that even the unlikeliest of heroes could rise to meet the horrors of war. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. Wojtek's journey began far from the battlefields of Europe. Rescued as a young cub by Polish soldiers displaced by the German invasion, he grew up amidst soldiers who saw in him more than an animal. They saw a comrade. He learned their routines, mimicked their movements, and somehow understood commands that no ordinary bear could. As he grew, his massive frame became a symbol of hope, a silent reassurance in the darkest nights of war. The soldiers of the Polish Second Corps were weary, their faces etched with exhaustion, grief, and fear. They had marched thousands of miles, battled through deserts and mountains, and still they pressed on. Wojtek, now fully grown, moved among them like a shadow and a guardian, his enormous paws treading softly yet deliberately across the frozen ground. He carried crates, assisted with logistics, and even lifted artillery shells, astonishing both allies and enemies alike. His presence was surreal, a creature of legend walking the line between the natural and the extraordinary. On the front lines, every step was a battle. The roar of cannons shook the earth, dust and snow swirling in patterns that seemed almost choreographed, as if the war itself were aware of the bear's significance. Wojtek moved with uncanny awareness, ducking under fire, helping soldiers load ammunition, and even providing comfort to those wounded and trembling with fear. For men who had seen friends fall, a giant bear walking calmly beside them was both grounding and miraculous. The moral weight of his existence was never lost on the soldiers. Could a bear truly be enlisted? Should such a creature face the horrors of combat? Yet Wojtek was more than willing. He understood the stakes, not as a human could, but through loyalty, instinct, and an unspoken bond with the men who had saved him. His actions saved lives repeatedly, lifting spirits when hope seemed gone. In every roar, every shove of a crate, every gentle nuzzle to a wounded soldier, he demonstrated courage that rivaled the finest warriors. During one pivotal battle, the soldiers were tasked with transporting heavy artillery across a ridge under enemy fire. The ice and snow made every step treacherous. Men stumbled, bullets tore through the air, and the roar of conflict threatened to drown all thought. Wojtek, unhesitating, lifted shells twice his own weight, passed them along the line, and even nudged fallen comrades to safety. His massive frame became both shield and strength, and his bravery inspired men to move beyond exhaustion, fear, and doubt. The battlefield became a theater of chaos and heroism. Soldiers moved like a tide, coordinated and disciplined, their motions synchronized with the bear that had unofficially enlisted as their comrade. Every command was met with precision, every movement guided by the experience and instinct of men who trusted both their training and the unlikely presence beside them. Wojtek's eyes gleamed with focus, understanding the stakes without words. Every motion a testament to the bond between human and animal forged in fire and blood. Amid the carnage, small moments of humanity shone through. Wojtek would nuzzle a trembling recruit, offer warmth against the cold, or nudge a weary soldier forward. His presence reminded the men that courage was not just about victory, it was about support, loyalty, and the strength to continue despite overwhelming odds. Even enemy forces seemed to hesitate, recognizing the strange, almost mythical figure moving among the Polish troops, a bear soldier defying the expectations of what war could be. As the battle reached its climax, artillery fire rang out in synchronized fury. Soldiers ducked and moved like shadows, and Wojtek continued his task undeterred. He carried supplies, aided the wounded, and even helped haul artillery that would determine the battle's outcome. The snow swirled in the fading sunlight, casting everything in a surreal glow, making the bear's silhouette larger than life. He was more than a soldier. He was a symbol of resilience, bravery, and the unexpected ways in which hope manifests in war. When the smoke finally cleared, the men stood in exhaustion, awe, and relief. They had survived, and they owed much to the presence of a creature they had once thought too wild, too unpredictable, too human in his loyalty to exist in a world so consumed by violence. Wojtek had proven that courage comes in many forms, that heroism is not bound by species, and that the heart of a soldier can reside in the most unexpected of bodies. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. Wojtek would eventually be officially enlisted, carrying the rank of private, celebrated for his contributions, and remembered for the lives he saved and the spirits he lifted. His legend lived on, not just in medals or photographs, but in the hearts of every soldier who had fought alongside him. Every story told around campfires, every whispered memory of a bear who became more than an animal, he became family, comrade, and hero. Even decades later, children would hear the story of Private Wojtek, the 500-pound bear who marched, carried, and roared his way into history. And the soldiers who had served with him would smile, remembering the day a bear reminded them that courage, loyalty, and heart know no boundaries, no species, and no limits. If this story inspired you, leave a comment below and subscribe. Share where you're watching from, and join us for more cinematic, true-to-life tales of extraordinary heroes, human or otherwise, whose bravery reminds us that courage can come in the most unexpected forms.